Polito, this is Greyhawk again, and I want to introduce Mr. Michael Billie to you. And he's going to be talking to you a little bit about the Native American language or the Choctaw language that you're going to hear here at the festival. Now, a lot of times the Choctaw come here and they come and they do dancing, they come here to do basket work, they come here and they also play stickball and a lot of other things. And you will hear them walk around and you hear them talk to each other in their language. So at this moment, he's going to tell you a lot about the Choctaw language and tell you about the words and how they use it every day in their everyday life on the res. So at this moment, we're going to teach you a little bit about some Choctaw language.
Halito, my name is Michael Billie. I am a member of the Mississippi Band of Choctaw Indian. Today I'm here at Moundville Archaeological Park in the wonderful museum. I am glad to be here to talk to you about my language, my culture, and to share some the experience that I had growing up. I am a graduate of class of 2018 at the University of Alabama, studied history and minored in anthropology. I have experience with Native American festivals here at Moundville, and I really say it's a great joy of being here during those times. For one, I'm able to share a lot of my culture, my heritage, and my languages. If you're never been to Moundville or the Native American Festival, you get to experience a lot of things that you don't see outside in public. It's just a joyous occasion and a big social event for Native American culture, especially in the southeastern tribes. As a Choctaw, it's very special with this place because it's ancestral root. This is where our people had derived from. There's some connections and a lot of related things that we see in the museums and some of the connection we have with other tribes like the Creeks, Chickasaws, even the Seminoles. And it's really a privilege for me to actually experience some of these festivals because for me to actually interact with other tribal members, we get to share our stories, our knowledges, our languages, and it's very entertaining. You get to see the dances that we do and all of our stuff that we do in our culture, especially in my culture. We do have a lot of origins in it, especially with the patterns in our clothing designs. We have the diamond shape, which is the representation of the eastern diamondback rattlesnakes. We speak our language fluently back home in Mississippi. 3/4 of people still speak the full language. As me, I grew up speaking my language, and I grew up in Jackson, Mississippi, which is in a public setting, but within the home, both my parents, who are full Choctaws, one from the Conehara community, which was my dad, and one from the Bocachitto community, which was my mother. We grew up speaking in home, and that's how I learned speaking. That was just my fluent language. English was my second language. I didn't learn how to speak English till when I got to kindergarten. So every day I speak Choctaw with my family. Anytime I see my father, a word of English is not too common in the house. I'll talk to him as I talk to you right now, but in Choctaw. And when we say hello, we say halito. And as for goodbye, we don't have any word for goodbye in our language because in our culture we believe that we'll see each other even after life. So we don't have that language. We don't have the word for goodbye. So all we say is Chipin which is we'll see you later. Growing up, going in a public setting in public schools, English was new to me. But as I got older, I was able to understand more about English and my cultural language that still carried on with me even as I am older. And when I moved on the reservation in Mississippi, I spoke more fluent in my family. I learned more stuff, more languages, more. People think there's lost language, but it's really not. It's very common in the reservation in Mississippi Band of Choctaw Indians. You can go to a grocery store, you still see two Choctaws still talking to each other fluently. And I really think it's special here in Native American Festival because a lot of people may believe that the Native American ways or even the language has died out, but actually it hasn't. we still have a thriving culture. We still have people that practice these cultures, these dances. And these dances are done, today is more of entertainment purposes, but we still do them back home as a common thing. It's not just for entertainment. We still have cultural practices. We still have our certain foods. We do style of hunting we have. All that stuff, we still do it because that's part of our ancestral roots. And there's a lot of things that we see here in Moundville that we have a connection to. So when we come out here to the festivals, it gives us a chance to have a more social event, have a bigger gathering with other tribes, because I know they have some connection here too. So, and it also brings us joy for people that are outside to come in to actually see this. And it's more of an educational purpose for us. And I enjoy sharing the knowledge, sharing my culture, sharing my lineage and stuff like that to people that comes through here. And that's always been a joy. So being part of the University of Alabama, I was able to experience outside of my home, but also I'm able to learn more stuff that I was able to expand further and see where our ancestral roots were from. It's really just a special place to me. Get to see a well-preserved area. During the festivals, you get to meet people. I mean, we actually have people to join our dances. You can even learn some languages, like even I said hello, which is, we say halito. That's in my language. And there's various ways of saying hello in different tribes. One time I've had a person ask me, and there was a misconception that we all speak the same language. We don't. We have various type of languages that exist in North America. And that's what's very special with my tribe, I guess, because I have my language, which I still carry on. And I'm hoping to pass that on to my future child and future grandkids when I get older. I learned a lot from my grandparents, which they had passed on years ago, but some of the knowledge that they shared with me, I'm still carrying it on, and that's one thing that's very special. And they learned it from their parents and their grandparents, so that's something that's very special. I am a chanter as well. I sing for social dancers, and that's been very dear to me. There's only a handful of people that actually know some of these dances. So I learned it from an elder that taught me. He taught me, and he just passed about a year ago or recently. So for me to carry on that tradition and carry on the chants that he shared with me, I'm hoping to do that to the future generation. That's why I really think the language and the culture that I have is very special to me. And another thing I want to share is for people to understand that our languages, especially in the Choctaw language, there's a lot of influence that occurred in today's American history. For instance, everybody know one word, which is from the Choctaw language, and is actually a state in the United States, which is Oklahoma, which is red people. And that's derived from the Choctaw word. And a lot of people don't realize that. And, our people, or my ancestors, did have a lot of influence for how the United States were shaped up to be. And that's something that you're really not gonna learn too much in modern day schooling, but it's oral stories and tradition that you get to hear from educational standpoint from a Native American perspective. And I think that's really special. So if you ever have a chance, I really encourage you to come out and visit our festivals. And I also want to encourage you to come out, even just to come out to Moundville. It's just a wonder to visit this place. Plus, we get visitors, and some people believe that, what happened to these people? Well, I'm a living example right now, sitting in front of you. We still exist. We just, I guess, wandered differently. But this wasn't a dying culture. It's still thriving. So today, there's a few things I want to share with you with the languages. Probably share a couple of animals with you. First, we have raccoon. A lot of our dances, we have animal dances to teach, our kids the little toddlers on up, they dance these animal dances to teach them what they'll encounter in the wilderness. So, we dance our raccoon dance, or we call them showy, which is, they dance and chase each other. It looks like a raccoon chasing each other in the forest. Or we have a thing called a snake dance, or we call it sinti, which is we all hold each other's hand and they wander around during the dance, and it just mimics a snake as it coils in and out. We have a turtle dance. That turtle is considered wisdom. So the dance that we have, it's some of the language it shares that it kind of mimics of a turtle trying to beat a rain, because how slow a turtle can be. But turtle does have a lot of influence in our culture, but we call them luksi. One of the most prominent animal we have or we share is the eagle, musi. And back to the snake, sinti. That's one thing that you see a lot in our culture, because the snake was you would say a caregiver or protector of our crops, because as my ancestrals, we grew up, my ancestors were agriculturalists. So in order to protect our crop, we relied on a lot about nature. So snake was one of them. But there's various languages, I know personally, and that we still carry on to teach kids. I know on the reservation right now, they have a education system where even though they learn the modern day American standard or English standard, you want to call, in the extra curriculum, they actually added on the Choctaw language in the reservation schools where I'm from. So it's really important to understand these, because these, we're still here. So I think it's just to continue thriving and teaching the younger ones. It's very important. So I would encourage you to just learn more about the Southeastern tribe, not just the Southeastern tribe, but the Native Americans that exist around the area, and how much influence they had with the local communities or your state. Because there's a lot of rooted history that's not been shared before, but we still exist. So I hope to see you one day, and if you ever do come across, always feel free to ask. By me endings, I would say in Roll Tide as Okayanale or Chipi Salachine. See you later.